11:30.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to another edition of the Sports Office. Great to have you here. Boys are in the house. Producer James, Woody in the house. What's going on?
How you doing, buddy?
Woody was at Lions practice today. We'll talk to him about that a little bit later.
I wonder what he wondered about.
No.
Unfortunately, look at this over here.
Oh,
we're back to
no. I didn't think we were going to bring it
0
on.
days.
0 days.
I didn't think we were going to bring it on.
Oh,
There was an
James.
incident last night with James in the script. I didn't think it was that bad, but he took himself down to 0.
Look at him.
He was
Sitting
all the
on
way to
floor.
11 before
Sitting
that
on the
happened.
floor. Look at him.
Hey, we got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to talk a lot of hoops because we got our insider here, and he's got a cool new thing going on. It's always a pleasure to welcome in Tim McCormick.
All
What's
right,
up, Tim?
Timmy. Grandpa Tim.
Happy to talk to you guys and have a hoodie on.
Nice. Exactly, yeah. And it's now Grandpa Tim, so congratulations
Yes,
on
congratulations, Tim.
Unbelievable blessing. I'm so lucky. Yeah, I've got a little baby granddaughter, 2 weeks old, and she's down, over in Grand Rapids, so I'm a happy man.
Okay, hang on. I know I'm showing my age, but I love those Converse behind you. Where are those from?
Julius Irving.
Oh, you kidding me?
Solid.
Yeah, Doc and I played together in Philadelphia, and when I was a kid, I wore the Converse All-Stars just like Julius. And when we were playing together, when I played in the Silverdome against the Pistons, there were actually 72,000 people there, and I think they broke the record. But that afternoon, I went home, and on my mantle in my bedroom, I saw those shoes, and so I threw them in my gym bag. And before we took the court that night, I showed Julius the shoes, and he signed them for me, and that's like my favorite possession.
Oh, man, that is awesome.
Solid.
Those shoes were the bomb back in the day.
Yes.
I mean, you had to have those. Those were awesome. Hey, just tangent here. What else did you wear? Because you were 70s into the 80s. What else? Did you ever wear Pro Keds? Because they were hot for a minute.
High school for 2 years of college. Then I switched to Nike my senior year of college. And then I was with a company called Avia throughout my career.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Robert Porcher was saying he wore those cleats. I think he was saying he wore those as well when he played football. So no Adidas superstars anywhere along the way?
Or nowhere. No, I was pretty loyal, but if anybody would pay me anything, I would have worn them.
That's an awesome keepsake, though. Hey, listen, you got a new venture going, which is really cool. It's called Go Blue Hoops, which is going to be a podcast that you're doing this year. I think you might be picking an amazing year with everything that's happening with Michigan that we'll get into. But tell us about the podcast.
I love Michigan sports. I love the basketball program, obviously. And so Go Blue Hoops is going to do two things. Give me a format to be able to break down the most recent games. So I talked on our first podcast yesterday about the Michigan versus Oakland game, one of the best performances I've ever seen in the first half. They had 69 points. It was as close to flawless as you can get. And then I've been so fortunate over the years to have a chance to meet and get to know so many Michigan basketball legends. And so every week I'm going to go in depth, talk about the players' history, funny stories, championship games. So my first guest last week, this week was Cassie Russell.
Awesome.
He shared some amazing stories. Can you imagine this? I asked him about his conditioning at 6'5", 210, and he had these big, heavy combat boots that he wore, and he ran up and down the second hole on the University of Michigan golf course all summer to get in great shape. A lot of stories like that. And then next week after the Wake Forest game on Wednesday, podcast number 2 is coming out, and Glenn Rice is going to be my interviewee. And if you don't know him, he's a very funny guy, and it's going to be a great interview.
That's awesome. And like I said, you're doing it, and people can find this wherever they find podcasts, right? And you sent it to me on YouTube, so it's around. It's Go Blue Hoops, so they can find it pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, and we're going to get better with the technology piece. Right now, I think the best bet is to go to YouTube, and then we'll expand.
So I mentioned that I think you're doing it in a great year. Everybody's got Michigan in their top 10. And if you're going to be good these days, it's got to start with a coach that understands the current landscape of college basketball and how to navigate it. And it is very clear that Dusty May does. Just some thoughts on how he's doing that. And then it's got to also be the backing of the university.
Dan, I spent the afternoon at Michigan's basketball practice. And that's the 5th practice I've seen this year, so I know them well. But Dusty May was having such a good time at practice. Usually coaches are yelling, they're screaming, they're teaching. He was just having fun. He was laughing and joking. He was talking some trash with his players. He was changing the narrative when they thought they were doing a drill a certain way. He would throw a wrinkle into it. The players had a good time too. And when basketball is a fun game, then players perform better. And the other thing that he does really well, an amazing recruiter. Dan, this team is loaded with talent. They've got pros, they've got role players, they've got young guys with potential, they've got veterans that can be role models. They shoot well, they really space the court and pass. I think this is a banner year for this Michigan team.
So just project it forward for me. And I know we're very early in this thing. What are your questions? Because if you're in the top 10 right now, that means you're one of the select few teams that maybe has a chance to take this thing all the way. How do you see him developing? Where are your questions? What do you need to see?
Love the question. So I really like Elliot Cadeau. He came from North Carolina. He's a pass-first point guard, 12 assists in their first contest against Oakland. I don't know who the backup is. They're talking about Namari Burnett, Roddy Gale, maybe Trey McKinney, the freshman, McDonald's All-American. None of those guys is a point guard. And I just worry if Cadeau goes out or if he has to sit with foul trouble or whatever, I don't feel comfortable going into Champaign or West Lafayette or the Breslin without a true point guard. Also, they were very turnover prone last year. First 2 exhibition games, they were very careless. But against Oakland, they only had 8 turnovers. They seemed like they took much better care of the ball. So those are my 2 concerns. But once again, those should be manageable.
Tim, how hard is it? You travel the country doing college basketball all year. How hard is it these days when these teams are flipping the way that they're flipping to understand what a team's got and what they will ultimately be? And is it January maybe before we actually really know?
Yeah, there are going to be teams that are immensely talented and they show some sparks from here on, but there's also going to be teams that you think are so underachieving. Chemistry is something that takes time. You can't just sprinkle some magic fairy dust on a team and say you now have culture. It's something that takes time. It takes a lot of players that are willing to buy in. And when you think about it throughout college basketball, all of these players that transferred, they jumped at an opportunity to make a little bit more money over here. And so there's a certain threat of maybe selfishness that they were more concerned about money than staying with their past team. I totally get it. They're making a living and that's commendable for sure. But I just believe that your question is spot on. Chemistry is going to be a massive concern for all of these really talented teams that might be missing some chemistry.
Tim, who scares you in the Big Ten this year?
Well, Purdue and Michigan are the 2 heavy favorites to me. I think that Illinois has done a great job in the transfer portal. I need to see Michigan State and their shooting. They have a big game against Arkansas on Saturday. I'm going to start to study them at that point. And then also UCLA has really good talent every year. I'm not a huge fan of their defense and the way that Mick Cronin coaches, but they could develop into a pretty dangerous team. Those are my top 5 in the Big Ten. There's clearly some other teams. Wisconsin would be right there too. Greg Gard has really become so strong with Bo Ryan's system. I actually went and watched them practice. I saw Nebraska practice. I watched Houston practice. There's so much that is going to be developing as the season goes on. Are these teams able to mesh new players and then be a formidable team on the defense? Remember, defense probably gets affected by chemistry more than any other part of the game.
Tim, you talked about chemistry and buy-in for Dusty May. Are you surprised that it's happened so fast? Might they be a year ahead of schedule with this?
You can't be ahead of schedule because next year there's going to be a whole nother roster that's going to be there. Yaxel Lendeborg is the top-rated transfer in all of college basketball. He's 6'8", 6'9". He's probably a lottery pick in next year's NBA draft. And he bypassed the draft because he wanted the college experience. When I watched them in practice today, there appears to be 5 or 6 guys on Michigan's team that could be a go-to guy from one game to the next. We're going to learn so much about these players as we look around the landscape of college basketball. And the Big Ten, they've really struggled in the past with things like winning national championships. I saw Jalen Rose made a comment that this is the year that a Big Ten team wins the national championship. I would love it because it's been 25 years since Tom Izzo and the Spartans won it.
Crazy.
This is the year that Michigan, Purdue, Illinois, they could really get a chance to do some damage.
Hey, Tim, I wanted to ask you because you brought up the fact that you were teammates with Dr. J, you were teammates with Charles Barkley, you played against Jordan, you played against Ewing, you played against Bird, played against Magic. I mean, you're now around the NBA, you watched LeBron. Right now, with what we're looking at, is Wembanyama going to be maybe the best ever? Does he have a chance to be that? This guy's 7'6" and an absolute freak.
I worry about his body. We've never really seen anything like that since Ralph Sampson. If he stays healthy with his ball handling and his shooting and his shot blocking, he's a transformative player. And he does remind me of Ralph Sampson. It caught the league off guard. But the thing is that he shoots the ball so well, and he's got footwork like Hakeem Olajuwon. He's got poise and the ability to just not get rattled like Patrick Ewing. He embodies so many of the qualities that we've seen from great players in the past. If he stays healthy, and he wasn't last year, if he stays healthy, he's going to be an all-time great without question. First ballot Hall of Famer, one of the top 15, 20 players of all time for sure. That's where he's going.
You know what? I could do this all night with you, because when you mentioned Ralph Sampson, I remember him fondly, and it seems like a lot of people don't. I mean, you played against him. What are your memories of him? Because there are people that will not put him, amongst those top players. I thought he was amazing.
I remember one game that I was happy with the way I played. I was 5 for 10 from the field, and I had 10 points. The 5 shots I missed, Ralph Sampson blocked every one of them. He was so agile, and because his body is so unique, he's long and not frail for sure, but he just never reached his full potential because he had lower body injuries. That's what I worry about with Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, it's tough when you're that long and taking the kind of beating that you take in the NBA. All right, the podcast is Go Blue Hoops. Hey, man, Tim, like I said, you're going to have a lot of Michigan fans enjoying this ride. That podcast is going to be another way that they can do it. Just one more time, give the folks just what they can expect in terms of from week to week as you take this ride with Michigan.
Sounds good. It's Go Blue Hoops, and it can be found at Hale Media Group. And I'm going to break down Michigan basketball each game. I'm going to go in depth, and then you're going to hear from a hero. Number one, Cassie Russell was launched yesterday. Glenn Rice is next Wednesday. Talking to Duncan Robinson, trying to lock him up too. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait. And I hope everybody will like it, share, subscribe, all the things that podcasters do.
Awesome. Tim, we'll look forward to having you in here soon. We'll look forward to talking some more hoops, man. Appreciate it.
Do I have to go? You guys look like you're having so much fun.
No, listen, trust me. I could sit here and talk 70s and 80s NBA with you all day. That's my wheelhouse right there.
Do it some other time, all right?
I look forward to it. Thank you, Tim.
Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
All right, Timmy.
Tim McCormick joining us right there. Always good to hang out with him, and he'll be in with us. Dude.
He's great.
Got Dr. J shoes behind him.
Oh, dude, so much history just with him.
I mean, he's teammates with Dr.
Yeah.
J. Teammates with Barkley when Barkley came into the
living
league.
history right
but
there.
You remember those shoes.
Oh, yes, I do.
Those shoes.
The one star with the check on it. It's beautiful.
Those shoes were like in late 70s.
Everybody wanted those.
Those were the bomb. And we talked about Pro Kids too. They had like a 2-year run. I had Pro Kids
as well, yes.
Yeah, they had like a 2-year run where they like legitimately got into the basketball shoe business.
James knows nothing about that.
Doesn't know anything.
I never heard that name in my entire life.
You know, Pro Kids had every color that was available. You could get any color.
I trust your word for it.
Carolina blue,
stuff.
red, George Mason yellow. You could get all of it.
That's right.
I bet.
Hey, we'll take a break. We'll come right back. You can join us right here. Click that Zoom link. That's how you do it. And we'll bring you in on the show. Glad you're with us on the Sports Office. We'll be right back.
Big time penalty.
What's up? We're back. Good to see you. Join us in the Zoom link. That's how you do it. It's here every night, man. You can be on this show just clicking that right there. Or you can put in the meeting number that you see right there, and that's the way you join us right here. You can be just a guest like Tim McCormick. There it is. Fabian, what's up?
Oh, she just walked away.
Oh, no. Oh, she's back.
Oh, there you go.
What's going on?
We been? How we been? I miss you guys.
Hey, we miss you, man. It's good to see you got your Amon Ra thing going.
She got the bobblehead.
Going tonight.
It's the bobblehead, not the bobblehead.
I am so sorry.
Are you worried about this week's game? You worried about this week's game, Fabian?
Yes, I'm worried about every game now because I was too geek Sunday. I was too relaxed, so now I just gotta get refocused and let's just get to work because I took it for granted that we was going to win last week.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did.
I did that.
Yeah, but the best part is that you've seen this team rebound and respond to losses. So it's not like one loss turns into two.
That's true. That's true, Woody. I was just trying to play devil's advocate, but the honesty is, I know we gonna win this weekend.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
We did a little too much of that last
take
week.
care
I think
of
we
some
did
business.
a little too much of that last week. I don't know.
Well, I told you guys that spread over Minnesota was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was what?
It was like 8.5.
8.5.
It was ridiculous. It was way too much. I mean, you knew the Vikings were going to come in here. They had lost 2 in a row. Their season was on the line. They needed to beat the Lions. Now, I'm not saying they should have beat them, but you were going to get their best shot.
Right.
And quite simply, the Lions didn't match their intensity and their desire, and this is what happens.
But
in
it's
this
going to be
league.
different this week. I mean, talking to everybody out there, Dan Campbell, the coaches, everybody seems to, want to shore up what went wrong and put forth that championship effort because for the guys out in Allen Park, it's all about winning the championship.
Yeah.
It's not about just getting to the playoffs or winning next week. These guys have a big, prize at the end of their road for this year, and it's the Super Bowl. So anything that they can do to keep getting better is what they're going to do, and we're seeing it out in Allen Park this week.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of a wake-up call. And Fabian, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it every night when you do
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
I
love
think
that.
it was. I
Keep
think
roaring.
It was,
Keep roaring.
We got the win this week. I believe in this.
I
like
like
it.
it. Eating those W's.
There you go.
Hey, I think in listening to guys out there, they understood that you can't play like that.
Right.
You can't. It just, man, they had so many opportunities to win that game, and still as bad as they played. And we don't see Dan Campbell's teams struggle on offense, defense, and special teams. There's always somebody to pick them up. Mm-hmm. And they were close to getting it done in this game. It's a 3-point loss for as bad as they played. So you hope that it is a cautionary tale, a warning, whatever it is, and they take off from here because it's got to be a turning point, not just another week.
I know Dan Campbell takes losses hard, but I got to think Dave Phipp took this one really hard because of the errors on special teams. Not once, but twice.
The returns were a lot. We gave up a lot of return yards.
Well, you almost gave up a touchdown. You gave up a 61-yarder, and that was the thing. That was the one thing that you couldn't do in this game was make life easy for J.J. McCarthy.
Short fields.
And you know what you did? You made life easy for J.J. McCarthy. You go down, score a touchdown, stadium's on its ear, everybody's cheering. They get a 61-yard kickoff return back to the plus 36-yard line. JJ's running on the field knowing he's already got points in the bank.
Yeah.
All he's got, you go 3 and out right there, kick a field goal. So you made, and he 3 times, plus territory for JJ, and they end up with 17 of their 27 points.
But it's different this week, man. It's different this week, all right? We got the Commanders.
Different. We'll
you
talk
got
about it
Mariota.
on the other side.
You got all that kind of stuff.
They're giving me this. That means go, rap. Take a break. Come right back. All right, it's Thursday night. You know what that means.
Oh,
Deep Thoughts with Z.
Dig this.
Dig this.
Where's Z?
One problem.
Where's Z?
Z's not here.
Oh, no Z.
So what year is it, James?
It is 2025.
So we're going to go to ChatGPT, and I'm
Okay.
going to say, give me the single best piece of life advice you've got.
Seems like a dangerous game, sir, but I like
We're
it.
going to see what happens.
Especially from ChatGPT.
We're going to see what
Yeah,
happens.
I mean,
All right. AI says what?
If I had one piece of life advice, something that works at 20, 40, 62, or 90, do the small, boring, good things every day, especially on the days when you don't feel like it.
I don't like it.
Dig this.
I didn't like it. Did
Hang
you
on.
like it?
Well,
Sorry.
you know, look, I can understand it.
The workout you do when you're tired builds more character than the one you do when you're hyped. You
Yeah.
feeling it now?
Yeah.
Now you
Now I
understand
get
it where
you.
it's coming
Now I
from?
get you.
The
Yes.
small financial habit you keep when markets feel shaky protects you more than the big move in a good year.
That is true.
You feel me now?
Stability.
You didn't know.
I didn't.
You didn't know where this was going, did you?
No, I did
The
not.
discipline you maintain when no one's watching shapes your reputation more than the moments when everyone is.
How a man
Bam!
How a man does anything is how a man does everything.
See? We
There
didn't
you
know
go.
this
That's
was going
great. That is the
anywhere.
best
Look where
thought.
we ended up.
That's a
Look
good
at
Look
that.
thought.
where we ended
That's
up.
a good thought.
Deep into this. You got anything to add?
Dig this.
No, I think you covered it. I mean,
Dude, that was it?
I mean,
James
that's
has no deep thoughts.
I have
So
zero
there's
deep
your
thoughts.
deep
Shallow
thoughts
thoughts.
right now. One more. Consistency beats intensity. Small habits beat big intentions. And doing the right thing when it's hard matters most.
The Lions will tell you that every week.
Amen. We're out. Peace. See you tomorrow.